Woo, baby, you know what time it is. It is 10 after 12, so that means we are 10 minutes late, but technically 5 because we're usually about 5 after 12 anyway, so it doesn't matter. What is up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Pop-Off. I hope that everybody had a fantastic Valentine's Day, whatever you celebrate on the day of love. I hope that you were loved or you spread some love in whichever form that looks like to you. We are all back minus Caleeb, so shout out to our boy Caleeb. He will be back with us next week, but we're doing the thing. One of our gentlemen here is fighting the good fight. This is the viruses that are ailing him. Mr. James Wudi, how are you, my guy?
Fantastic. All right, I am doing fantastic, ready to talk sports. There's a lot of things that happen. And the title of this, right? The thumbnail for this video, the Wemby injury, he's out for the season. Well, guess what, man? Sometimes people fight through their ailments, and you're looking at them.
There it is. Boom. Finger point. That means he's serious. And he could have been pointing downwind, which is the square below both of us, which is our man, Mr. Genefitzmagic. What is going on in the office today? What's up?
What's going on, my guys? Sorry that Wudi is under the weather. You sound like shit, but I'm glad you're here. I know it wasn't on our docket because it kind of came through after we had all our scheduled stuff to speak about, but we're going to have to talk a little bit about this new Yankee rule with getting rid of the beards, or adding the beards to I don't like it. I mean, I'm not a curmudgeon, I don't think, but
you are.
I love tradition, and I'm a little upset.
Okay. All right. Sounds like we have some topics to get through. And of course, I am the host today, driving this sportsmanship. My name is Nigel Downer. And look, without further ado, let me give you a very, very quick rundown. A couple things that happened this week. We won't get into them because it's already long been done, except for one. The first thing, that Super Bowl was egregious. The thing was, I stayed tuned in because it was the Chiefs still being the Chiefs. So you just never knew if they were going to do something. They did not. So they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 40-22. That gives the Philadelphia Eagles their second Super Bowl. For a franchise, who knows what the future holds, but it feels like good things are in store. Shout out to our boy, Mr. Saquon Barkley. What a trade, possibly the best trade in NFL history to go from slum to champion. Good for him. What else happened? Well, I'm going to go right to Nigel's hat corner because I am representing Canada. This is a Blue Jays Canada Day hat. And I want to make sure that y'all know, being Canadian, yesterday's game, and I'm talking about the Four Nations face-off, was a huge game. There was all kinds of implications, all kinds. We're not political around here, but there's no way you cannot talk about politics without talking about this game and vice versa. Canada ends up beating USA 3-2 in overtime in Boston to win the first Four Nations face-off. If you weren't watching that tournament, I'm not even a hockey guy. We don't talk about hockey that often here on the show, but it was a fantastic game. It was raw. It was intense. It had playoff energy of the highest caliber, just like when they met in the round robin. I'll open up the floor. You guys are nodding in agreement. You guys have anything to say?
Yeah, a rumor has it that Prime Minister Trudeau, whoever it is, Trudeau from
you're already more polite than your president by at least address. You forgot his name, but you addressed his title. Thank you for that.
The rumor has it that they made a bet, him and Trump, that if they lost, they were going to become the 51st state. So thank God for you guys. You guys won. And let's just say what's up to Sunil's, Eric, and Darlene. And Sunil, you're right. I think he more like I think what Nigel was getting at. He wasn't traded from the Giants to the Eagles. I think he was trading situations. He traded his own life from the Giants to the Eagles. I think that's what he meant by that. That was a free agent signing. And as far as Caleeb is attending to some business today. I hope you're saying the Cobra Kai guy. I hope you finish watching season 6, part 3. Guys, if you haven't seen it yet, it wraps it up with a nice bow. I am already in mourning these characters because they're gone now. That's the work of great writing. Let me sidebar for 1 second just to shout out Cobra Kai on our boy Caleeb. One of the signs of great writing and a great show is when the show ends, you mourn these characters, like even though they didn't die on the show, they're dead to me now because like they're gone. Like I'll never see them again. And I'm mourning some of the characters on the show that I'll never see again in those roles, at least as far as we know. So shout out to Caleeb. A great way to wrap up the show. It was great, and I'm gonna miss it.
I truly believe it was probably my favorite ending to a show of all time. I mean, I feel like some great shows that just have such tremendous trouble just landing that plane, man. Yeah. Land the plane. Game of Thrones. That was that was 9/11, bro. They didn't land that plane. That was crazy. But Cobra Kai, they did a tremendous job landing that plane. And like you said, missing the characters. I'm hoping to see them. I'm hoping 10 years, we get a show starring Laura Lawrence, and we see where everybody's at 10 years later. But that is my piece on Cobra Kai. Definitely, they killed it.
Is a fantastic way to pause. I don't want to say end, but to pause the legacy that is, and to rebrand or reshape and start anew in a couple years down the road. Gotta love when shows do that, when they have the right team behind them. Again, we're just giving Caleeb his flowers and the rest of the team, the right team behind them, and want to make fantastic product. Once again, started off on YouTube. Next thing you know, it's a Netflix hit. So shout out to all those people involved in Cobra Kai. That's amazing. All right. Well, with that in store, we have talked about a couple things that happened this week, but now let's get to what we are regular. Yeah.
If I could just, say one thing. No, tip of the cap to Canada. That game was incredible. So many people that don't watch hockey were hitting me up like, yo, are you watching this game? Just the intensity. And that's a beautiful thing because, we're all clowning the NBA All-Star. No passion, no nuts, no nothing, too much Kevin Hart, all that type of stuff. But here we have hockey, guys just, giving truly everything they have to give, blood, sweat, and tears. And if you're a true sports fan, that's all you need. It doesn't matter if they're playing on ice, on turf, on wood. It does not matter. You need that passion. You need that emotion. You need that grit. And that's exactly what that game had. And, Canada won. We stand on guard for thee.
Oh, bless this man. Bless this man. All right, let's get to it. Thank you very much for the contributions. Let's jump in. I mean, I did give a little bit of a preface to what we're talking about today. And, we always jump in with NFL first. So let's go with it. Even though we are a week removed, it feels so long. It feels like
I know, right?
So long. Now, let's talk about the championship coach, leader, commander of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni. Great coach. Great coach. What do we think?
I mean, earlier in the season, they wanted this guy gone, didn't they? Didn't they?
Felt like
yeah. I mean, like I usually it would. We thought Doug Peterson was going to have a long leash because he brought a championship to Philly after all these years, and it lasted a year or two after his title. So I don't know. Is he a very good coach? Yes. I can't put him on that great level. He won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2. But he's also made some bonehead moves. I think he's a very good coach. The future will tell the story of where Nick Sirianni lands in the lore of coaching. But I consider him a very good coach. Listen, you get to 2 titles in the span of a few years. With at some points of where you could say a suspect quarterback, right? We've looked at him at times saying maybe he's not worth that contract. Maybe he's not the guy that deserves the hype. And this was one of those years, I think, coming into the playoffs where we were like, I don't know if he's the guy that we thought he was 2 years ago. But I'll give him credit as far as being a good coach. He's done some things that if you're not a very good coach, you don't do. So I call him a very good coach. I don't call him a great coach. Not yet. I think we're still a couple of years away from being able to determine whether or not he's a great coach.
I'm not gonna lie. The main reason why I was looking forward to this was to hear our guy Caleeb. You know what I'm saying? He was, one of those I was calling for Sirianni's head.
Yeah.
And now he's a Super Bowl winning coach. So I wanted to see, how we were feeling in Eagles Nation. From the outside looking in, I think Gene, who doesn't always, but he hit the nail on the head this time. That Cobra Kai, right? He got that hammer to the nail of the head, right? Or head of the nail, sorry. But yes, I think that was pretty spot on, right? I wouldn't say he's great. He's not Andy Reid, all right, but he got there. And I would say one thing that makes it even more impressive is directly after making the Super Bowl, he lost his OC, lost his DC. So he had to rebuild. And that next year, they were looking that good. But now he's added, new people in that place. Vic Fangio has been fantastic. Yeah. Vic Fangio had Patrick Mahomes looking like Jackson Mahomes, right? And now they've won a Super Bowl because of it. So I think that is a sign of great coaching.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question before Nigel goes real quick. Would you have considered Andy Reid a great coach during his Philadelphia term?
Yes.
You did. Okay. I still didn't consider him a great coach until he got to Kansas City and done the
I view him like Kyle Shanahan. Like, I think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, although he hasn't won the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah. I'm the same. I think I'm in the same boat. I think Andy Reid, I mean, that's some inside baseball, the question that you're asking, Gene, only because when you're checking out like these head coaches now that used to be assistants or just different coaches in different programs, it's like kind of so far removed. And now you're like, oh, it's kind of hard to remember that. And then you have to go back in the banks and be like, oh yeah, no, he did great over there. He did a good job over there with that program at that time with the stars at that level.
You just said it though. He did great over there. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Did he do a great job?
What's that?
Did he do a great job or did he do a good job?
Well, I mean, from memory serves, he did a good job. I mean, yeah, it's Philadelphia at the time, right?
Yeah. Listen, Philadelphia's a tough place to coach and play. You could win 4 titles in a row, and if you go, the following year after that, if you go 7-9, they want to, hang you in effigy outside the stadium. So it's a tough place to play. Shout out to Philadelphia because I actually love it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But now definitely a great coach. There's no sure, man. Did he lose the Super Bowl? Yeah, but look at the resume though. At the end of the day, it's like after he walks away from the whole thing, guy's a champ through and through, right? Especially when he took that program as well, which is a very historic program. The Kansas City Chiefs has just put them in an elite conversation with other fantastic teams of not only this decade, but yeah, absolutely.
The Niners of the 80s and 90s.
Totally. Love them or hate them, right? Love them or hate them. Speaking of love or hate, man, your boy's having a real hard time over here because the Pittsburgh Steelers have a QB situation.
A crisis.
I love it. A crisis. And it is not going well. Rumors are swirling all over the place. It's just listen, it's a cluster F. Like it's just a hot mess over there. And we all know the quarterback is the quintessential piece that will bring everything together. We've seen it. We know the kind of quarterbacks that teams now are choosing to lead their squad. Look at what Daniels did for Washington. Look at what obviously Mahomes has done. Most recently, Mahomes has done. Like, look at these. Jackson is doing. Like, look at these. Josh Allen. All these names are quarterbacks that have more than one skill or asset that they can bring to the table. Now, I digress. Pittsburgh has pieces of those in kind of these guys. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen. What are these guys doing? They're set to reach free agency. What do we do? Gene, do you have any ideas? What do you think the Steelers should do?
Well, I mean, it sounds like I don't know if any of these guys are going to stay. So, I mean, do you go after a Sam Darnold? Do you go after a Kirk Cousins? I don't know if I trust Kirk Cousins not in a dome. He's played in the dome for so long, right? So I don't know if I go there. Do you wait in the draft and maybe take a Jackson Dart? I don't know what they do. I don't think they're ready to roll yet either. So I don't know if if you want to go get that quarterback just yet, you might want. To be honest with you, I probably if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm probably getting a bridge quarterback this year and trying to fill the team up as best I can, and then next year go in and try to draft a quarterback.
Right.
I don't think I'm looking or draft maybe, like I said, a Jackson Dart who you can get in the second, third round. You know, I don't know if I don't trade up. There's too many holes to fill on Pittsburgh's team, so I don't trade up to get one of these other guys. I don't even think they're the answer anyway. I'm not too impressed with the two guys at the top of the list for the draft this year. And I don't overpay a guy. I think I go out and get a guy that, would it be crazy if they went you're going to have to pay him, but Aaron Rodgers for a year?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm not doing that.
What are you going to do this year? Is there a guy that you want to go and roll with for the next 10 years? There's not a guy out there anyway. Maybe bring in an Aaron Rodgers, sell some tickets and some jerseys, and just kind of look to get to the following year where maybe you draft your quarterback of the future the following year, or you give a guy like a Jackson Dart that year, that redshirt year to stick behind, an all-time great. That's probably, now again, I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers. I probably try to get Jackson Dart second, third round and let him learn behind a veteran, but I don't think it's Kirk Cousins. Again, he's been playing in domes for the last X amount of years. I think I get a journeyman, a bridge guy that I could put there, maybe 2 years max.
Yeah, I agree. And the part I don't agree with is just the Aaron Rodgers part. Like literally everything else.
I just threw a name out there just because he's there.
Yeah, no. I don't. I respectfully disagree. I love everything else. I'm right on board with you, man. I was thinking the same thing. This and I think to be more specific, this might be a situation where the Pittsburgh Steelers might have to tank or have a losing record or do something to get a higher position in the draft for the following year. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, get a bridge quarterback, get a Band-Aid right now. If it's Darnold, great. Whoever it is, and I understand because you made a very, very valid point. More of an indoor guy than an outdoor guy. But you just need something to stay a little bit more consistent. Make sure the receiving core, the O-line has faith in the system, has faith in the team still. Just get you through this next season to get a higher spot in the first round in the draft, because it is what it is, man. And I think that's probably the smartest plan. Will this tarnish Tomlin's, undeniable winning season record? Yeah, but guess what? You need to start winning properly and having a good fight when you make the playoffs, and not fight to get into the playoffs when you could have just not walked in, but you could have strutted it.
And he's safe this year. He just signed an extension. He's safe this year.
Totally.
So like if there's a year to have a losing record, this is the year for him, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got the extension, so he's safe for a few more years. If he's gonna have a losing record, this is the year to do it.
Yeah. Wudi.
I think the issue on the offense is like the weapons. The Steelers this century has had some of the greatest players to ever play at those positions. And right now we have George Pickens, who is good.
Overrated. He's
kind
good.
Of a head case.
But he is a little overrated.
I don't know how they rate him. I think he's a top 30 receiver. Like, I think he is a starting receiver in the league.
I just know some Steeler fans. I'm not saying Nigel. I know some Steeler fans. I don't know how Nigel feels. He's been on the show before. A friend of the show, my friend Rob, the kid that we brought on. Some of these Steeler fans rate this guy as like a top 10 receiver. Like, guys, relax, slow down. So that's all I'm saying. I think to Steeler fans, he's overrated.
But every fan base does that, says all, our guys. But Pinkett, he's solid. They have nobody else, right? They tried their best to trade for Ayuk, tried their best to get T. Higgins, tried their best. They were fiending for a receiver. Finally ended up with Mike Williams, had that game winner. Of course, Mike Williams hasn't done anything since. Najee Harris, he keeps getting these 1,000-yard seasons. So you're like, oh, he's solid. Come on, man.
1,000-yard season in these days aren't that's 70 yards a game. Come on.
Exactly, right? 17 games now. He's coming off career low in touchdowns. I think you have a Najee problem. You got to get a running back in there. Ask around the league. Now that Ben Johnson's gone, are the Lions more willing to get rid of Montgomery? The Jets. Is there a price on Breece Hall, Braylon Allen? The Titans have Tyjae Spears, who's coming into his own, but they just gave Tony Pollard a lot of money. There are some teams out there where you could probably upgrade.
There's a guy in the draft they could get. He's right in that spot where he might go. Is Genty?
That's true. Actually, he might fall to where you're at. That's
plays in Idaho. The weather is not too much different than it's going to be in Pittsburgh. He might be a guy there.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be huge, right? That would be amazing, right? Now you get a running back, get a receiver, and with all that change, right? All of that uncertainty, I think you do need the veteran, and you need to be cheap. I don't think Darnold's gonna be cheap. I still believe that 35 touchdowns outweighs 2 nationally televised games. I think Darnold's gonna cost like 20+ million at
least.
He's
overpaid this year. He's getting overpaid.
You know what Kirk Cousins cost this year? $1.2 million.
I don't understand. I don't understand what that means. I don't even understand that amount of money. I don't understand it.
Because the Falcons, it's the exact same. You actually just did this with Russ because the Broncos are paying Russ. So you gave him the vet minimum. Now the Falcons will be paying Kirk. You can give him the vet minimum. Russ also, I don't think Russ played himself into, the 20 million, and he was already there. I think he does have a positive relationship with, a lot of the guys there. Pickens definitely was playing better with Russ than Fields. I would say Kirk or Russ is the veteran QB. Gene had a fantastic suggestion of drafting a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, but you desperately need a running back that is not Najee Harris, and you desperately need another pass. As soon as George Pickens went down, you guys look like the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, there was no other receiver out there, not even one. So I think it's less actually about the quarterback for once and more about who else, who is on the team, who is the quarterback going to. So I think you guys got to repair that. And in the interim, have that old guy, coach up, the new pieces that you add.
So I honestly think I really can't see Russ not ending up in Vegas. I just feel like that's where he's going. I think it's going to be him or Darnold. I think Carroll's there. I really think it's going to be one of those two. But
Carroll, what do you mean Carroll shipped and traded him? What are you talking about?
I still think they got a relationship. I still could see it. You would be surprised if he ended up in Vegas?
Yes. I don't think he likes Pete Carroll at all.
Everybody loves Pete Carroll. Not Nigel. A quick question for you. Let me ask you this, Nigel, since you're the resident Steeler fan.
Yeah.
And then James, as the co-Jet fan on the team, I'll ask you with the same question, but let me start with Nigel. Is Steelers draft 1st round Genty, 2nd round Dart? Is that a home run?
Steelers draft 1st round
Genty, the running back.
Yep.
From Boise State.
Yep.
And the 2nd round they get Dart from Mississippi. Is that a home run?
I don't know if it's a home run. I think it might be a double or a triple. But I don't think.
Would you be excited as a Steeler fan? Would you be excited?
Absolutely. I don't think it's a home run, but I think it's a double or a triple for sure. It's more than it's one of those hits where you're like, oh man, that's gone. But like the outfielder kind of fumbles, and then they get another extra base, and you're like, I didn't see that coming. That's
and also Dart's going to take a year or two to know what he really is. It's not like you're going to know year one about Dart.
100%. 100%.
Woody, what do you think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Yeah, Woody, go on.
From a Steelers perspective, I think that's pretty damn close. I mean, I guess it's a triple. But if you do that, right, and like you have that veteran, one of those guys that we just said, not like an old man, Kurt, Russ, someone like that. I think that's I do think that's a home run. I really do.
Because there's going to be receivers out there on the market that they can sign. There's some veteran receivers out there.
Yeah, but that's not how we roll. That's not the Steelers' way,
But
baby. It's like draft,
luckily,
and then we make magic out of receivers from the
I was just saying,
draft.
luckily, you guys are great at getting a guy in the 4th round and making him a Pro Bowler. So, like, you guys have done that time and time again. Now, they might lose their minds within, like, 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Also fact.
That happens. But you guys have a track record of being able to find a guy in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round and making him a star. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
I wouldn't be worried about that at all. You could definitely do that as well. So,
yeah, it's very interesting because now I'm like really in the weeds of how the mechanics of this is going to work, how the QB situation is going to work with my favorite team. I've never really been in this situation before. Like last year, because we picked up Fields and Russell, there was at least the hubbub was just about who's going to start and just like how well they're going to fit. But now it's actually a problem, and it's a massive gaping hole at that position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of more holes and more QB holes in systems, the New York Jets are suffering from the exact same problem. Now they got another problem they got to fix.
I got some indigestion, some
the Aaron Rodgers experiment. Well, that was 2 tough years. It didn't really pan out, and who knows would have been like if Rodgers didn't go down on the 2nd or 4th play of his first season with the Jets, because after that it didn't reach fruition at all. So let's talk about this quickly. What do the Jets do with their quarterback position next year? Let's start with Wudi.
I think the Jets are better positioned than the Steelers in terms of, if I'm a quarterback, where would I want to play?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather throw to Garrett Wilson. I have a stable of running backs in Brees, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis. Even the offensive line, which is not something we've been able to say about the Jets in about a decade, even the offensive line is mostly intact. We only need 1 starter next year. The last 5 years, we just kept replacing all 5. But now we only need 1. That's a really nice place to be in if you're a quarterback. We don't know about this offensive coordinator. He was an assistant for Ben Johnson, who I believe is a fraud, but some, real gems exist in fraud land. So in this scenario, in a perfect world, the prince who was promised, Sam Darnold, would come home. If I'm Sam Darnold, I'm saying F y'all. Like, yo, you can kick rocks. Are you serious? Yo, you can miss me with that. But all I know is that at the ESPYs, when Snoop Dogg tried to clown the Jets, he gave Sam his props. He said, all you had to do was leave the Jets. Sam wasn't smiling. It actually hurt him. You watch the clip. It hurt him. I think he has always been a great kid with a good heart. He has always said the right thing. Has always been a leader to his teammates. Look how much the Vikings celebrated that man when they got, whether it was 14 or 15 wins, right? They celebrated that man because of that's who he is. That's what he brings out of his teammates. He would be perfect for the Jets locker room right now, where they've just had, a spoiled brat at quarterback for most of their career, and then replaced him with kind of a spoiled old man, who needs things his way. So that's all they've known is a prima donna. To flip the script, right? I can't say Russ, because Russ kind of has a little bit of that in him as well. And I can't say Kirk, because Kirk, he's just out there. Like, is he doing, the leadership, or is he, searching for the next sale at Kohl's? I think Sam Darnold will actually inspire players to be their best selves, and we would see our best Garrett Wilson. We would see the best Malachi Corley. So perfect world, however we can do it, overpay, give Sam Darnold the bag.
I want to agree with Wudi so bad.
Yeah, I can tell.
I do, because I love Sam. Like, what you said was spot on. Not only did he really kind of fix his game up, he's a good kid, or he's a man. I shouldn't call him a kid, but he came into the league as a kid, was a good kid. of course, his head he has a giant head. I get it. It doesn't fit his body, but he was always a great kid. A little bit of a bobblehead, but I thought he's got a good heart. And I think that is one of the things that hurt him in New York, the I see ghosts, where you might have felt safe saying that somewhere else, like in Tennessee or something like that, or Arizona. You couldn't say that. You can't say that in New York, right? Because everybody rips you apart. And the New York media will amplify it, so it does go out, viral. I think he deserves better than the New York media. I think he could handle it better now. I don't think he wants to go back. I feel like he got a raw deal here. Or you know what? He might look at like, hey, I haven't finished business there. I learned from some pretty good offensive coaches. That's a challenge. If he really wants to take on a challenge, I don't mean to do the Obama thing, but if he really wants to take on a challenge.
Gene, it's Black History Month, man. Do the Obama thing, bro.
Okay. If he really wants to take on a challenge.
Too much. Keep going.
Sorry.
Too much. Okay.
All right. I don't want to appropriate. What is it? Race appropriate? Whatever.
Appropriate?
Yeah, just keep going. I shouldn't have stopped you. Just keep
I'll
going.
do the Clinton thing. I can do the Clinton thing because he's like, honorary.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay.
If he wants to, if he really wants a challenge, he might look at it that way. I'm sure there's a lot of players that do. The Jets would be the spot, right? Because he kind of got a raw deal here. He wasn't the player. So to come back here and be the conquering hero, for a team that hasn't had anybody really put it over the top in forever, since way before even any of us existed on this earth. And to conquer those demons or those ghosts, Nigel ghosts, that would be something that he may be interested in. And I can also see why he wouldn't be at the same time. I'd love to see him come back. I do. I have a good feeling about this offensive coordinator. I really do. And not because of Ben Johnson, because I agree. I don't think Ben Johnson is going to have quite the career in Chicago as people think. But let's face it, that passing game looked pretty good at times. It was pretty creative. And he was the passing game coordinator. So I'm kind of excited to see what he could do when he gets to run a whole offense. Because I enjoy it. If you watch some of the Detroit Lion games, their passing schemes were pretty cool. They had some pretty innovative stuff. They had a lot of cool little trick plays. I liked what I saw. I'm kind of excited to see him. And maybe we're getting a guy right in the beginning of where he's going to be that next offensive genius, hopefully. But I want to see what he could. I would love to see what he could do with some good receivers, a good stable of running backs, a decent line, not as good as Minnesota's, I wouldn't say, but you know what? We can add some more pieces. We still have some money. I think this is the year I think we sign Garrett and get that squared away. We get that done. I might even draft a receiver relatively high in the draft. Not maybe first round, but I draft receiver high because we need to get another guy there for Garrett. I don't know if we sign a guy because I think T. Higgins is going to be at that point. If you're paying some of your own guys, and because that's coming up, you're gonna have to pay Sauce, you're gonna have to pay Brees, you're gonna have to pay Garrett, you're gonna have to pay a lot of these guys.
Definitely.
And then still bring in more players like Sam Darnold. Like maybe get another offensive lineman somewhere to put to the mix. You might not be able to do that. You might have to draft maybe let me ask you this: and I know it's a little bit off topic. Would you be upset, Wudi, if they drafted this kid out of Arizona?
No, I actually wouldn't. I think that would be fire.
At 7? I mean, that's kind of the range they think he goes in, right? Like that second half of the top 10, right? So picture matching him up with Garrett Wilson. And then, and you got, or I'd love even that tight end from Penn State who could be like the next beast of a tight end.
Oh, yes.
Love this kid. I can't remember his name. Warren?
Ward? Is it Ward? Oh,
it was something Warren. I got to ask my friend
Rob. Yeah. Tyler Warren?
Yeah. He just looks like a beast. He puts up wide receiver numbers as a tight end, and he can block. I was trying to get Brock Bowers, and y'all were. I was on the Brock Bowers train last year too. Trust me, I wanted him last year. I think me and you were the ones who wanted him. So there's some things that they could do at quarterback. But I don't know if I draft one because I don't want to. I'm tired of drafting a quarterback. We've done it a million times in my lifetime in the first round for nothing. And
I definitely
3 years later, shipping him out. So, me neither. And I'm not saying these guys aren't going to be good. I just don't know enough that they will be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know enough that they will be. So I need to go get someone out there like and like you said, if I have to overpay a little bit for him, I overpay a little bit for him. And I sell him on this will be your team. You're not coming into a thing where you're a rookie and you're kind of having to listen to everything. This will be your team. And you can correct all those things that went wrong the first time and resurrect those demons. Is that the right word?
No. I don't think so.
Not exercise those demons. Exercise those demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to resurrect demons.
Yeah, I was like, you don't want to resurrect demons. Bro.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah. You can be the greatest QB in Jets history. You already have a head start. You have
because they don't have any other
touchdowns with us, right? You have X amount of yards. You come in here, have 4 good years. You probably broke every single record.
And and I see a lot of our friends in other things, not on YouTube. Please come over to YouTube, guys. I see a bunch of you guys somewhere else on X, or if you're watching on X, Facebook, wherever you guys are watching. Please come over to YouTube and join the chat with us because we love to get your opinion on these things too. So please do that, guys.
Gene took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to lead right into that, saying that we love the conversation. So please add to it. If you are on the YouTubes, chime in. Let us know what you think about quarterback situations, about the upcoming draft, whatever you want, because we love to kind of go off the beaten path and talk about whatever is of interest to you guys. Once again, you are listening or you're watching live the pop off, freshly branded. We're doing new things. We're going off and we're doing the thing. And also, I want to let you guys know that the Jets are drafting number 7. So you guys have a tough choice ahead of you, I think, because it's a weird spot because it's still a spot where you have a lot of key players that can be available, and you have spots that you want to address, but you don't want to take a chance. You know what I mean? Like it's a
you don't want to lose draft capital either. You don't want to lose draft capital to move up 1 or 2 spots.
Is what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's interesting. We're 21, so whatever. Okay, great. So listen, let's finish out the football chatter because what's coming up next is talking about what this offseason has in store. It's a big offseason. I feel like the last 3, I want to say 2 off seasons have been pretty fantastic for free agencies, for trades, and for players going different. It's been absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. So date-wise, we got to look out for certain things like the combine. If you're a combine person, that happens to Feb 24 to March 3. And also the free agency, the new league year starts March 12. So but for that first week, it could be complete mayhem. We have no idea. So that free agency starts March 12. And then after that, we got the NFL draft, April 24 to 26. And I mean, that's going to be huge. Obviously, it's televised the first 2 rounds. So that's going to be a really big deal. But you got to keep paying attention to the deeper rounds because there's a lot of people that end up slipping. And there's a lot of gems that can be found there. NFL schedule is released mid-May. And then we start to jump in to training camp, which opens mid-May to late July. NFL preseason starts early August. Rosters cut down late August. And then we are in it, baby. But enjoy your summers. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Gentlemen, do you have anything to add in terms of what we think or how big the offseason can be, Gene?
I just want to piggyback off what you just said.
Do it.
I lived in Florida, so it's always summer. So I don't care. Let it just fly. And let's get to the – oh, wait. Is it snowing up by you?
Is it snowing? No, it has been snowing, my guy. You know what? I would turn the camera and show you guys, but because Gene is loving his sunshine.
Nigel, you always have an open invitation to bring the family down here and visit and stay with me. Wudi, you as well. You always have an open invitation to come down whenever. We can go check out some Magic games.
Yeah, I know.
We can go to Disney World. We can go to Universal. You got Ed. Enjoy this goddamn sunshine. You guys got to come down and visit. It's like 80 degrees today. Well, actually, it's probably not. It's like I think it's gonna be in the 70s. It's actually a little bit chilly.
Chilly.
Yeah.
It was 60 degrees last night. That was cold.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go to Wudi. Wudi, do you have anything to
add? It actually snowed here, which is very unfortunate. But all I'll say, all right, the offseason, if there's a team that I am worried about and I'm actually double worried because I hate them. It is the New England Patriots. No team in the NFL has over $100 million in cap space besides the Patriots. They have 128. Mike Vrabel is there. This is his first year. This is his dream job, right? Like how Jets fans are celebrating. Oh, Aaron Glenn, former Jet. Like Vrabel, right? He has done this. He wanted to be the Belichick successor. We've already seen what he's done in Tennessee. Getting great players together. I think this offseason, he is about to wreck shit. They have the 4th overall pick. They can trade back, get a boatload of picks. They have the most money by far. They can overpay. T. Higgins is a name we said many times already on this show. I think he's a Patriot.
And they already have the quarterback. He looks official.
Yeah, I
I
said that out the gate. I was like, look out for this cat. And also, Wudi, just because you're making such a great point, I was going to mention that too. They also have the 5th pick in the 2nd round, right? So they have number 38. So it's just like they're on top of the world, and this franchise can come back to not so much greatness, I think, but they can come back to a very competitive nature to what the fans are used to. Sorry, go ahead, Wudi.
No, I hate it. It disgusts me. Everything besides Drake May, I have watched Drake May. I lived, or I currently live, 6 minutes away from the campus, so I'm out here, May, one of May's biggest fans. I was hoping he would go literally anywhere else in the NFL besides the Patriots, but of course, that's just how my life works.
Basically, what he is saying is, I lived close enough to prevent him from being really good in the NFL on a competitive on a rival team, but you didn't do it. You chickened out. You could have kidnapped him. There's a number of things you could have did to stop this. You could have kidnapped him like they did in Celtic Pride. There's a number of things. Celtic Pride. Shout out to Damon Wayans.
Yeah, that's you channeling your Caleeb energy right there, just with a movie.
Right. To be honest, I used to always do it, and then he took it off, and I'm like, I can't see movies no more. Like that's now he's took in that spot.
Yeah, he's very good at it too. All right. Well, yeah. So those are the dates. Those are the things. Who knows what the Patriots are going to do, let alone some of the other teams that are just jonesing to get some players to fill some spots. Let me just go over the top 10 picks in the draft, just so you know. Tennessee Titans at number 1, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, New England Patriots, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, New York Jets, Carolina Panthers at 8, New Orleans Saints at 9, Chicago Bears, the new look Chicago Bears at 10, San Francisco at 11. I just want to put San Francisco in there, and Dallas at 12. Who knows what those teams are?
San Francisco is too good to have that high of a pick.
That's why I couldn't stop, because I was like, I gotta say San Fran at 11, because that's bananas to me. But it is what it is. So we'll see how that goes.
I could see and I'm blanking. He's got a hard name for me to say, so I can't. I gotta just say the kid from Arizona. If he slips to the 49ers, he's a 49er to me. Because they already talking about trading some of these other guys away. If he slips to the 49ers, he's a 40. He's not gonna get past the 49ers to me.
Yeah.
Because they're already talking about trading
Debo.
Who?
Debo?
Yeah, Debo's already. They were talking about putting him on the block.
Yeah. But they got Pierce. So I don't know. Like Ayuk, I think Ayuk is staying there.
He's still got to get. But he's coming off a serious injury. We got to see how that goes. I know those injuries are a lot easier than they used to be.
Ricky Pearsall got shot and he came back and was playing. Juwan Jennings was fantastic for my fantasy team. I don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of good players.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So look out for that NFL draft, April 24th.
Did they even catch the guy?
I thought they did, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I can't remember. Hey, let's jump over to the other league. Let's jump over to the NBA, and that's one thing I forgot. Maybe I forgot that on purpose. While most people, that's not true. Well, a very small percentage of people were watching the NBA All-Star Weekend. I was watching the SNL 50 on Sunday, and I could not keep my eyes off the TV. If you haven't seen it yet, I think it's Peacock out there where you kids are at, NBC, whatever. Rewatch it. It's absolutely fantastic. They did a great job, brought all kinds of stars back. And at the same time, there was the NBA debacle that is now the All-Star game. I don't know how successful it was. I haven't heard any good things, and you guys are definitely shaking your head in the chat. Please chime in if you watch the All-Star weekend. I am so curious to see, but we're going to jump up and talk about who the NBA MVP front runner is at this moment. We're coming back for the second half. Who's that person?
Wait, can I give Sunil a real quick shout out? I love it. Geriatric Jerry Jones. Love it.
Jerry Jones.
And can we shout out a friend of the show?
Of course.
Our friend Matt Hamilton he's a diehard Cowboy fan.
True.
And I actually spoke to him the other day. I'm supposed to be, speaking to him today. He might be coming on every once in a while to do some stuff with us. So we'll see. He's a big hockey guy, big baseball guy. So he's going to give some insight to some of that other stuff. So we're just trying to nail something down like in the next couple of days. But I do want to shout him out because whenever I see Cowboys, I think my brain goes to two people. It goes to Caleeb, who hates the Cowboys, and it goes to Matt Hamilton, who loves the Cowboys. So shout out to those two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sunil, you want me to comment on Dallas sports and just surrendering of Dallas sports?
Yeah. You're how do you feel about Sunil surrendering Dallas sports?
Hey man, Steelers could always use some more supporters. Let's go. Pittsburgh is one of the only cities in sportsdom that has all three major professional teams have the exact same color. So as long as you want to wear some black and some yellow, go on and do it, my guy.
It's a lot easier to get ready for games. You could just, as long as you have black and yellow.
Yeah, that's it. It's the gym. You know what I mean? So you just do the thing. But listen. I love the dedication of fans to their teams come hell or high water, because that's what makes sports. James, I think you had mentioned just the competitive nature of sports early on and when we started the pod. And that's it, man. You know what? Sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. You have to as a sports fan. So it is what it is.
It's the facts of life.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, great show from the 80s. Shout out to Facts of Life. That's that. The reference was not missed on me, good sir. All right. So what do you think? Front runner for NBA MVP. Let's go quick. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, go ahead.
James. 3 letters. SGA.
Thank you. Another shout out to Canada right here, baby.
You already know. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he could have won it last year, right? But they opted to go a different route. But now his team just as good as last year. Probably better. They even have Chet this whole time. I literally forgot. I was thinking, I was like, oh, Isaiah Hartenstein doing his thing. And then last week, Chet came back. I was like, oh, they still have Chet. So for him to do what he's doing, leading that team, he's very good. He's a very, very good basketball player. He's not a 3 chucker. So I think to the younger kids, they don't like him as much. I have a cousin who is in his 20s, and he's like, he just goes to the foul line, foul merchant is what they call him, and all that type of stuff. But
foul merchant, that's a bad thing now. That's wild.
That was my beef with Allen Houston back in the 90s Knicks, is he'd shoot 99% from the line, but he would never drive to lane to go to the free throw line. Yeah. And he would just always, listen, give me a foul merchant.
That's what I'm saying. That's there's a difference between someone like Joel Embiid, who is flopping every other play,
and some of that actually because they drive the lane.
Yeah, exactly. So so hopefully one day we can educate my cousin on that. But I think he's a fantastic player. Plays the game the right way. Old school mentality. Is a dog. Is Canadian, and he is the MVP in my opinion.
Gene.
I know at the beginning of the year, I thought it would be Tatum. I still won't be surprised if they give it to Tatum. I think the league wants so bad. First of all, I'm not saying that he's my pick yet. Let me just preface it. But I think the league wants it to be him so bad. I still think it's Jokic. He's averaging a 30-point triple. I think is he averaging a 30-point triple double? I think he is. He does things just so effortlessly. It's you looking it up? He does things so effortlessly that he's the guy. And again, SGA
very close, 29.7,
Yeah,
and then
gross.
12 and 10. So that's pretty much 30
and again, SGA is a fantastic ball player. He's having a fantastic season. I just think that Jokic is just that notch above.
Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, like you can't go wrong with picking Jokic.
Yeah.
I think he's the best player in the world. It's just that I guess the NBA historically rewards the best player on like a top 3 team.
Yeah,
and that's where I guess I would say based on history, SGA would be my pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because I'm split right between the center of you two because my instinct says SGA without a doubt, but then the numbers cruncher in me and just like the performance aspect of this game is going to Jokic. Like that's what I think. That's what I think too, Gene. I feel like even though we don't get a lot of him up here broadcast wise, just because he's on the West Coast and whatnot, all the highlights and the games that you do get just indicate that this guy is definitely still an elite ball player and conversations are still in there. So for me, it could go 1A and 1B or 1A and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I just think both of those gentlemen are fantastic. And the Tatum argument, you're not wrong, man. It's weird because I'm like, why is the system trying to push him so aggressively? Tatum, why are we doing this, man? His personality just kind of sucks for that imagery, for that standard of.
And I'm tired of seeing that kid on TV every game.
We know, Gene. We know.
I don't need
leave him alone.
All right, relax.
I don't need any more Deuce Tatum, bro.
All right. What do we think about there's been a 25-game suspension. Mr. Bobby Portis is going to be on the IR for a couple games. Wudi, let's have you jump in.
Yeah, no, it makes me mad. It really does. That's why I wanted to talk about it because Bobby Portis, right? He's a beloved player by both his teammates, the staff, and the fans. Right? He's become a fan favorite in Milwaukee. Right? Had an elbow injury and was taking Toradol. All right, that's something he's taken in the past for his elbow. Right, that's what he was doing. His assistant picks up Tramadol and is like, "Hey, Bobby, here's your Toradol treatment." Right, literally 1 pill of Tramadol. This is something that wasn't even on the banned substance list until last offseason. Right, so this is like the newest banned substance. The assistant gets it wrong, right? They're only 2 letters apart, trauma, and Bobby takes it, the 1 pill. Now he's suspended for more than a quarter of the season, 25 out of 82 games. Bro, you should be worried about how to fix the All-Star game. You're out here suspending good dudes over a mistake. Now, I mean, hey, rules are rules. So I understand if you need to enforce, you need to enforce. But 25 games. This isn't even a steroid. It's not a performance-enhancing drug. This is a painkiller, somebody who had an elbow injury trying to relieve themselves so they can play in your league. Fan favorite. He's generating money. And you're going to suspend him 25 games. Isaiah Stewart can elbow anybody he wants in the league. He missing 1 game. Draymond Green. We want to talk about Cobra Kai. He wax on, wax off, crane kick everybody in the balls, and he missed 1 game. And now Bobby Portis is missing 25 games because somebody gave him the wrong pill of a non-performance enhancing drug. What are you doing, Adam Silver? This bald-headed buffoon is one of the worst things that has ever happened to the league. Dr. Evil looking ass. Oh, my God. He is killing the league. Killing the league that I love.
Yeah, well said. Definitely well said. And thank you, Sunil, for responding. I guess he's a former New Yorker. So but he's down with the Villanova Knicks and the Eastern Conference. That's cool, man. Pittsburgh still loves you, dude. So don't even worry about it. Gene, what are you thinking?
All right, so I feel like they have to enforce it. If they're going to enforce it, they have to. And the reason why is because, it's so easy for someone to say, oh, well, I thought it was this and I was taking the wrong thing. People have used that excuse before, right? Having said that, what has been my stance on steroids and all that other stuff? Listen, if they want to take it, let them take it. Everyone's on the same playing field. It's up to you to take it. It's the same thing. If you want to get in better shape, you go to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym to be in better shape. You can go to the gym. People choose to go to the gym. People can choose to take steroids. I have no problem. If you want to take steroids to make my experience better with you on the court or on the field, go right ahead. If I'm going to, you can see it hit 100 home runs, make my experience better, go right ahead. Do what you feel like you need to do. I don't think PED should be a banned substance in the leagues. If people want to go ahead and do that, they know what their consequences are. They're grown men. They want to do it. Let them do it. Having said that, they are illegal, and I believe that, listen, you got to enforce it, because if you do have this thing, this rule there, it's just as easy for someone to say, well, I thought it was this, or I thought it was that. So you kind of got to enforce it. So I, as much as I think I'd hate to see Bobby Portis get suspended, I think he's a like you said, he's a fan favorite out there. He's done really well. He's had a nice career. It is what it is. You muted.
25 games for, and this is not a PED.
If that's the rule, that's the rule. Listen, I agree with you. I say let him take it. Shoot up, my friends.
Yeah,
but if it's
not even a steroid, it's crazy. It's just like the higher strength aspirin. That's all it is.
Yeah, this is a touchy
on the list.
I mean, I don't mean touchy subject as in like it's touchy in terms of the discussion that Wudi brings up a great point. Gene, you bring up a good point. Like, where does Silver sit? And obviously we know that he's like, yeah, this is 25 games, or whoever's pulling his strings or whatnot. But like that's a lot of time for this kind of substance, which is illegal in the game. But it just seems a little excessive again for a player that is bringing butts and seats, and just like to a franchise that he helps. Seems a little drastic. It's more than a slap on the wrist. This is like a full, we're putting you in the seatbelt and you're not getting out of this car for ever. Essentially it feels like. Yeah, interesting. I mean, my thoughts on it are kind of, again, I'm definitely not with you, Gene. I don't want people to take drugs. I want them to naturally do the thing. But I hear what you're saying, though. If he takes it, then everybody's got to take it. But you're right. If you get caught, you get caught. And these are the consequences for it. But it's rough, man. It's rough seeing that kind of caliber of player getting busted for this type of substance. Okay, I want to make that clear. I'm not talking about actual PEDs that really enhance your performance. I'm talking about this kind of thing that, again, to Woody's description, kind of a glorified Tylenol or aspirin or whatever. That really hurts. That really hurts. And what else hurts is Sunil's assumption that the CFL isn't good enough for me. Are you crazy, bro? Next week, do you want me to wear all of my Argos hats, man? I live like 10 minutes away from BMO Field, doggy. I love the CFL. CFL in the summer is the best. So I'm down with the 2024 CFL champions, the Toronto Argonauts. Thank you very much. Did I watch the Grey Cup? Hell yeah, I did. So don't even, man. But the NFL is just a bigger brand. That's all, bro. That's all. I got nothing but love for it.
Like Transformers, and then you had GoBots.
GoBots, yeah. That's now you're speaking. Now you're speaking my language right there. Okay, great. Listen, we got that out of our systems, only to jump into another wildly reactive conversation. I'm talking about Wemby out of nowhere is out for the season. This was a big shocker, I think, amongst the community and in all the outlets. He's a bit of a shoulder strain, and it has now gotten to be a bigger thing. And he has done for the season. We just saw him play on Saturday in the NBA All-Star game. Guys, thoughts?
Did he hurt it in the All-Star game?
That I think it accentuated in the All-Star game. That's what I think, because he was still playing. So,
my thing is this: if the All-Star game meant something, if they played hard in the All-Star game, they weren't just joking around and hanging out with each other for a weekend, I would have less of an issue with it that he got hurt. You know, like if he like kind of like we were saying with the Four Nations tournament. Guys could get hurt in that, but you know it's worth it more than that because they're trying really hard. So you could see, okay, it's worth getting hurt. Not that it's worth it getting hurt, but like you could understand if they get hurt, it's because they're going all in.
Yeah, we know what you mean. Yeah.
But with the NBA All-Star game, they're just hanging out with their buddies for it's like a work picnic. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, every company has a company picnic every summer. They where the whole office gets together and they make hot dogs. They play softball. That's what this is. And if you're not playing that hard, you shouldn't get hurt. But if you get hurt, that's a problem because you're not playing that hard. So why are you getting hurt? You know what I mean? So that's where I have a problem with it. Like if he got hurt, got hurt, and he hasn't played since. So where else could it have happened, right? So, I
mean, life happens. He could have played, right? He didn't play like a regular sanctioned game. He could have played. Right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, you know, it's a shame to see such a young talent lose significant time.
So early though. This is I got to jump in because I feel so bad for the young man because now he can't get Defensive Player of the Year. Like he's going to be ineligible for tons of awards.
Well, I'm worried about his awards. I'm worried about
listen. Let me finish. That's what I'm getting at is the fact that because you garner these accolades through your performance, which is exactly what I'm saying. Now front office is like, oh man, are you kidding me? Right. And because of what, to your point, Gene, you're playing this kind of, recreational All-Star game. Now, I want to make sure we're clear because All-Star game from when we all grew up was not the same thing. Mm-hmm. So now if you got injured in the All-Star game in like the 80s, 90s, it was a different flex. Also, they never got injured in the All-Star game. No, they still played their hearts out. Yeah. But now having this thing, new format, having 4 of these sophomore rookie teams play against each other in this weird tournament thing real quick to 25, 40 points. And then the next one goes on the next day. It just seems like a lot of insult to injury. And now it has resulted in a major injury for a franchise that was really coming up and in the best way too, because they just made some major moves during the trade deadline to add to this team with Wemby in mind specifically. How can we build around him so we have a great future? Now that thing is going to be pushed back just a little bit. Who knows how much it's delayed in terms of their comeuppance, how much they rise up. But this is a huge loss, in my opinion, for the San Antonio Spurs, and not only for this season, but potentially, the future, because now they have to rework it. That's how I feel about that.
Wemby, I guess there's 2 things. I didn't even think about how did he get injured? That never actually even crossed my mind. But to speak on the points that you guys have already made, it's worth blaming Dr. Evil again because all that stop and start, Nigel's point, right? You play this quick 25, sit, listen to Kevin Hart talk about Shaq's suit for 25 minutes, and then play another. All that nonsense.
Who's not even funny anymore. Why is he like the picture of the NBA?
Yeah,
He's not even funny anymore. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all good. But yeah, that's not good for an athlete. Like my cousin actually was texting me during that night saying all this stopping and starting is not good for their muscles. That's why, halftime is a certain amount of time, right? Right. Because you need to get them back out there, get them fresh. And I was like, hey, bro, I am not watching. Please stop texting me. But, he was like, hey, so to see an injury come out of that, Dr. Evil should look at the man in the mirror. Now about Wemby himself. Dude is 21. His story is a long story, right? This isn't someone like, I don't even want to disrespect someone like that. But someone like, oh, he's injured. Damn, now what is his career gonna be like? No, we know Wemby's gonna come back. the best part about this is that if they start losing, now you can get another piece. All right. I'm not gonna lie. I would be like, yo, De'Aaron Fox, I feel like your ankle looking a little swollen. You need to take a rest for the next couple months. Like, that's like I would do that. Set up because that's actually
it happened in San Antonio way back when they had the Admiral who got hurt, and then they ended up getting
Tim Duncan.
That's right. I was literally word for word was exactly what I was just about to say.
My bad. I didn't know you were going. Sorry, I didn't know you remember that.
This is like watching The Usual Suspects when it's all coming together. Me and Gina's just like, wait a minute. Oh my! This is the Twin Towers.
No, that's exactly it, right? I think that this is actually a blessing for San Antonio, even though they won last night. That's what I'm saying. They need to bench De'Aaron Fox. He playing too hard. All right, so bench De'Aaron, and then you can get that top draft pick. And now you have a squad for real. Castle, Fox, Wemby, and this high draft pick. That is a foundation.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna find out what happens. I never even thought about that. I never even thought about that angle, and that's a very interesting angle to throw out there. We'll see what happens. It's only the second half of the season is just beginning, or has just begun a couple nights ago. So we'll see what goes on going forward. The Lakers. Luka has now debuted with the Lakers. He's done a little bit of things, but not a lot of things. How do we feel about his kind of average appearance, debut, and continuous so far? Gene, what do you think?
He'll be fine.
Yeah,
he'll be fine. I don't, like he's coming off an injury. He's getting acclimated to a new system, to a new city. I think he'll be just fine. I do believe he's a little overrated because I don't think he's good defensively. So, but I don't think in the long term they have anything to worry about. This guy, it's not like I don't know. It's not like he's a pitcher and he just loses his accuracy. It's not like he's in another position where that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just got to get used to the new system, new teammates, new city, and again he's come back from an injury too, so he just lost time as far as playing in general. So I think he'll be fine. I'm not even worried in the slightest about Luka.
And they're positioned in number 5 in the West right now, so that's fine. Like I mean, everything is good. They have a good runway to to really take off and make it in the playoffs. See what happens. Wudi?
I will say, Luka, I do think is somebody who plays with his heart on his sleeve. I would say the average European athlete, they're just wired differently than an American. Americans are stupid. They're in it for money, right? They're very selfish, right? A lot of Europeans come in here and they have a lot of pride in their work, in their profession. Luka himself is second generation. I think he is still heartbroken. He's out here having to show up to work, and he's still thinking about his girl. Dallas, what they did to him.
You think he's really? He got traded to the Lakers. He didn't get traded to Milwaukee or Portland. Like he's playing for the Lakers.
Yeah, but that's an American thing. He shouldn't. Why would he give 2 shits about the Lakers? Why? Right? He made his home in Dallas. He bought a home in Dallas, and 1 week later was discarded like garbage. Not only was he discarded like garbage, but then had to hear the insults. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I don't have all this type of stuff. I mean, it was definitely a jarring, a monumentally jarring event in his life. And I don't think it's something that can be processed in a day or even a week. I actually think this has gotten him off balance for a little bit of time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all Gene's gonna say about that. I love it.
I just don't agree. I just think listen, the Lakers and Celtics, those two teams that I think no matter where you are in the world, those teams, how important they are to the league and how important they are to the game of basketball. It's like the Yankees in baseball and the Dodgers in baseball. I think those are the two teams that no matter where you're from, you know that if you're going to the big leagues, it'd be a blessing to play for one of those two teams.
I think I agree to the extent that those teams are known. I don't know about the blessing thing again because of his European background. Because
Perhaps.
I think that once you're drafted, you know what? We don't know what he's thinking. I'm just going to say, obviously, my opinion of the whole thing. But you're embraced by this smaller market that has one championship to their name and also had loved another European player in Dirk, and he's an icon there. And you go there and you're like, I don't know if I want to play here. Oh my gosh, this place is amazing. I'm following in the greatest footsteps of one of the greatest Europeans to ever play the game. And so I think because it is a smaller market, it makes it even more homey. It feels a little bit more comfortable. And then you get traded again, which was the wildest NBA trade that we've ever seen, to the biggest show that the NBA has right next to the Knicks. I think it's jarring, and I think it's just different. And I think it's like now you live in LA and you have to have this LA lifestyle, and then again immediately all these things start coming at you, and all these people start shouting at you at the volume of 100. Well, it's fine. You were too fat. You drink too much. You party too much. Well, not even party really. You just don't do the things that we do here in LA or whatever. I think it's just a different flex, man. So I think he is kind of the adjustment is real. Will it work out in the future? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Give him another season and it's in the bag. LeBron's going to bounce. They got Luka. We know this. They got Luka now. So it's like they got their star just in waiting because it ain't Bronny. We know that. We know that star ain't Bronny. I mean, all right. Let's keep it moving. I want to stay here in basketball and talk about the Warriors. 3-1 with Jimmy Butler. Can they make this playoff push? They've done nothing but great thing. Great, maybe too much of a hype, but they've done good things. They've played a lot better. I know Steph Curry is really jazzed up about having Butler there. How do we feel about Golden State now that they got the bad boy Butler on their side? And mind you, they are in 10th spot right now in the West.
I think it's the exact opposite of what we just said about Luka. Like how, I think, Luka, he's messed up right now. He needs like a season, right? To adjust, long term, we know he'll be fine. But right now, he's really having a hard time adjusting. Jimmy, bro, he was begging for this. Everything he wanted, it went right. They're in the honeymoon phase right now, right? You guys are all married. The honeymoon, yo, it was lit. It was lit. You know what I'm talking about? They're all smiles all the time, action all the time. All right, but then what happens? Now, you ain't take out the garbage. You left this dish out. Now all of a sudden little things are irking people, and you got Draymond Green punching you in the face like Jordan Poole. So long term, I see nothing in this for this team. But I do think they're going to have a little bit of fun with Jimmy. I don't even know if they'll make it into the playoffs. Obviously, Dr. Evil created this play-in tournament, so, the 10th seed can have a chance, but I don't think they will be a playoff team.
I think it'll be good this year. I think by, the end of next year, he's going to want to be out because that's what he does, right? He goes to a place, embraces it, and then within a year or two, he's like, yeah, I want out. And then he becomes kind of like a crybaby, kind of like James Harden to an extent, right? I feel like James Harden's kind of followed that same model. But, again, like James, like Wudi said, he's in the honeymoon phase right now. I never really had that, so I don't know what that's like. I still got cold 4 eyes and stuff, so I don't know. She was still mean to me, but I know I've heard of it, and I feel like that's what he's going to be in. It is the honeymoon phase. Let's face it. Everywhere he's gone, it's been an issue, and it's always something that's been an issue for him. It's always something. I think Miami should just let him rot and not trade him. Why reward bad behavior? It seems like wherever he's went, they've rewarded his bad behavior, and that's why he thinks he can keep doing it. And the highs get high everywhere he's been. The highs were high, right? The playoff Jimmy 2 years ago, right? In the finals. the highs are always high, but the lows get real low with him. So where I think it'll be good for them this year, I don't think they get past the first round, but I do think they make the playoffs. I think by the end of next year, he's going to want to move again, and we'll see how it goes. But I think long term, it's kind of like what we said. It's opposite of the other thing. It's going to be good in the beginning, but bad in the long term.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think the reward was for Miami just getting him out of there. I think they rewarded themselves by doing that, and I think that Golden State needed to switch up. They needed, again, not a star to replace Curry, but just another piece that would bring some more action to not only the court, but also the fandom. Because I think they were slipping on that. Like, just the culture was slipping. And I think that's what Jimmy brings. Who knows how the playoffs or how the rest of the season is going to shake out for that squad. It's going to be a fall from grace. They've slowly been doing it. And listen, they've been great when they were great. So now it's like, well, all franchises have to eventually adhere to whoever is next. And I think that's what's happening with Golden State. They had a great run. I'm going to go back to the Lakers real quick. Shout out to Adam Hurley. Adam says the Lakers need to waive Alex Len and sign Christian Coloco or trade Jameson. I mean,
yeah, I saw that. I don't even know Alex Len was still in the league. I can do a quick Google search. I know Alex Len was, on the Suns, however many. Oh, yeah, I guess he is. I guess he's still doing his thing. He's 31. Yeah, definitely waive it. I mean, yeah. They need a big man, big time. And they got Mark Williams. Now, Ray, how awkward is that? They have the trade. Dalton, you're gone. Oh, fail physical. All right. Don't worry. We're so excited to have you back. And Mark Williams had to suffer that same situation. So it was definitely – that's what Gene and I said, actually. And we're almost never in lockstep. But we were in lockstep that the Lakers trade alone for Luka was stupid. But when you got Mark Williams, it was like, oh, okay, you got your center. Let's get it. Now they don't have a center. And Luka's head's not on right. I think they're screwed.
Great. Let's leave it at that. Great ending to that. And let's jump right into the MLB. We know spring training has started. They're in it. They're doing the thing. A lot of baseball fans in this city, we constantly pack out the Sky Dome, if you know, for opening day and for at least a month until the Jays really slide, and then you can get cheap tickets. But we're still excited about these Jays. Now, let's talk about the Yankees, though. Was it the right move for the Yankees to extend Aaron Boone? Gene, take us home.
Yeah, you kind of had to. Am I a big Boone fan? No. But do I think he still has something left with this team? Definitely. There was some real suspect calls in the World Series by him last year that made me say, hey, another manager might not have made that mistake. That might not have led to that loss, which might not have led to the loss in this series. There was some moves in game one that he did that was like, what are you doing? And maybe they don't lose game one in that case, right? And then who knows what happens? It's a whole different series. So, but do I think he's a bad manager? No. Do I think he deserves to lose his job? No. So you kind of had to give him that extension. Like he was, I believe he was going to be a lame duck. So like that point, I don't like the idea of having a lame duck manager. I think the manager needs to actually have some years to be able to get the confidence from his players. So I have no problem with the extension in that sense. Do I feel like he has more to prove? Yes. But I get why you had to give him that extension. So I'm not as I hate saying that I think he should have had the extension because like I said, I don't know, but I don't think he warranted not being here, and I don't want a manager on a lame duck contract. So he had to give it to him.
Yeah, extension. I know this is now the second time we're talking about somebody getting extended. It doesn't make them unfireable, right? Like, you can still
true.
Get fired. So I think when you consider that, then yeah, the extension is fine. Have your extension. Have it. All right, enjoy it. But if you do some bullshit like you did during the World Series, then you gone. Then you gone. Because I do think that he made some questionable decisions. I do think at that time, in the heat of the moment, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, I think a different manager would have done things differently." So I think, yes, extend.
There's also the idea though of who else is out there, right?
Yes, definitely.
Like who else is out? Who are you going to bring in that's going to do a better? Like with this group, a rookie manager is not going to. You don't want a rookie manager, right? You don't want a young rookie manager. So who are you going to bring in otherwise? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's definitely an issue. So I guess like it's fine, but a lot to prove. Had a very good offseason. So the expectations are high again. So let's see what he does with these new players.
We're going to keep it in New York, and we're going to talk about the New York Mets. Now, unfortunately, Saturday, October 19th, the Mets lost the last game of Game 6 against the eventual champions, the LA Dodgers, losing the series 4-2. Are we going to see that same New York Mets team thrive this coming year and do even better than last year, Wudi?
I mean, they won more games against the Dodgers in the playoffs this year than the Yankees. I am proud of my guys in Queens. Obviously, Juan Soto, right? The signing of the century. Re-signed my grandpa's favorite Met, Pete Alonso. He was, he kind of almost Dennis Schroeder'd himself, or he really did, right? They offered him a deal. He was like, "Nah, bro, I'm worth more of that on the free agent. Let me test this free agency, get more money than that. Who want me? Man.
Okay, any players? What's up? No.
I feel like he was very Charlie Brownish this offseason.
Yeah,
you could basically call Pete Alonso Charlie Brown. Nobody was like offering. No one sent him a Valentine.
Not at all. So then he comes back, tail between the legs to the Mets, and now they got a deal, right? Way less money than they had originally offered. But the more important thing is that our guy's back, first baseman. He was huge during the playoffs, clutch home runs. So I think the Mets can. I think the Mets can make it back. Unfortunately, the Dodgers, oh my God, MLB, rich get richer, man. So I'm not saying I'm definitely not putting the Mets in for the World Series, but I think we can see some Mets baseball in October. And my grandpa, hey, he's 93, man. He out here, he's trying to see something. He's trying to see something. So we're gonna be watching in October.
Gene?
He's 93. He's seen 3 championships.
Yeah.
More than I've seen. It's more Jet champions than I've seen. I gotta tell you, the only reason why I really wanted to sign, there's 2 reasons why I really wanted to sign Juan Soto as opposed to what we ended up doing. And that's one. The first reason is I didn't want to see the Mets get him because I didn't want to see them. I despise the Mets. So I didn't want to see the Mets get him. I forgot my second reason. My ADHD.
So blinded by hate. By hate.
Oh, no, wait. What was it again?
That's all you can think about.
But either way, and I do believe he is an error machine in right field. So
that's why you wanted to resign him?
No, wait. Why did I want to resign him? Was the Mets?
You don't know.
You forgot.
You don't know.
There was 2 reasons, and I don't remember them now.
We'll come back to it, maybe. All right. Last but certainly not least, we did the thing. This has been another fantastic edition of the Pop-Off. Last but certainly not least, in the MLB, what will happen with Vlad Guerrero? What is going to happen with Vlad Guerrero? That is the inquiring minds want to know. I'm curious what you guys think, and then I'll chime in. Wudi.
I don't know. I really. What's his deal, man? Yeah, I literally don't even know what his deal is. Obviously a huge get, right, to finally get the bell of the ball. I guess one team that I don't want, who I guess is considered one of the front runners right now, is the Red Sox. That wouldn't be cool. But I don't even know. I cannot even wrap my head around where his head is at.
Yeah. Gene?
I think he's a Met.
A Met?
I think he's a Met. I think he's going to be on the Mets. I think there's not a chance he stays in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the last 2 off seasons them offer $700 million deals to 2 different players, and then they can't even meet his demands, which are a lot less. I think there's zero chance of him staying in. Now he might finish the year. I'm not saying he's going to get traded at the trading deadline. He might finish the year, but I think there's zero chance by opening day 2026 he's on the Blue Jays. And I'm sorry to say that, Nigel, because I know you're a Blue Jay guy. I just think that I would think about it. How would you feel? 2 years ago, they offer $700 million to Ohtani. This year, they offer $700 million to Soto. This year, I don't even know what their number was, but I know he was looking, I think, for like around 5, they said, maybe less. And they didn't reach that number. So the disrespect is pretty inevitable, man. Like, why would you stay at this point? You're going to look at it like you're going to offer 2 strangers. I'm homegrown. I've been here since day one. I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave 2 guys that were going to be like mercenaries to come up, pay them to come in. Like, let's face it. Especially even with Soto. Soto's bounced around the league already. What? He's on like his 4th team. It's a mercenary to me, man. So no offense, Wudi, but but you're gonna give these guys all that money, and then a guy who's a homegrown Blue Jay, a guy who wants to play in Toronto. I was born here. I grew up in Canada. You don't want me to. You don't want to reward me. You should overpay me just because you love me so much. That's how I would feel. And then I'd turn it down, say, no, keep that extra $100 million. I'll take it.
That's what Gene would do. Yeah, that's what Gene would do. Yeah.
I've done it a few times in my life. It's if the love is there, it's there. I think there's zero chance he comes back to Toronto if he hits free agency. Zero chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Toronto has an affinity for doing things like this, for making stupid moves like this, for not treating players, especially players that want to be a part of this franchise, that want to be up here in the Great White North. It is diabolical to me that you don't want to spend the money to at least keep a player of this caliber. Everything that Gene said was correct. I was born here. I will bleed blue, double blue for you guys, no problem. He's coming off a year where he hit 323, 30 homers, 130 RBIs. He's 25 years old. He's already been a 4-time All-Star and a Silver Slugger. Are you kidding me? We can't pay that guy?
He's in the prime of his career.
100%. People and the fans here, I'm going to make sure you guys know, the fans here in Toronto are rabid about our Jays. When the highs are highs, the lows are lows. We've talked about passion. That's been the theme for today's show. We've talked about the passion of the fan base. And when he leaves, because that's probably going to happen, it's going to be a rough day here. We're already having a tough time getting people out towards the end of the season or like mid-season. The diehards, they're true; they'll show up. But when you have a player like this who's ready to walk away and you just can't meet halfway, or you can't meet at the top of the table, it's tough. It's tough, man. And we need that. This city, this team needs that to stay not only to stay in contention, but also to stay within the grasp of anything, especially in our division. It's tough. The Sox, the Red Sox, the Yankees, Tampa Bay's hit and miss, but the Orioles, it's yeah. So I don't know. I'm passionate about it because it sucks when we end up losing out to something that can help us be really great. But he knows when he leaves, as soon as he comes back, we'll retire his jersey or something. You know what I mean?
Wait, I remember with the other reason why I wanted to resign Soto.
I talked long enough. Damn it, that's on me. That's on me. Hurry up, Gene. We got to go.
Real quick. It's because also I wanted to make the players we gave up for him not, we gave us some pretty good pitchers. Michael King had a terrific year last year. I wanted to make it be worth getting rid of them in the first place. The only way it would have been worth getting rid of them in the first place is if we actually keep the guy long term. So for those reasons, those are the two reasons why I wanted to make sure that we re-signed Soto. Because like I said, to trade really good talent for a guy that you only bringing in for 1 year and you're going to let leave is ridiculous. So that was that.
All right. Well, over to you, so.
There you go. Done. Hey, one last shout out to Sunil because he's been on our asses about this. Nico Harrison is his MVP in the NBA. We get it. It's very funny because he did drive viewership to the Lakers. We understand it. So shout out to you, Sunil, and your MVP candidate for the NBA this year. Hilarious. Hey, and thank you all for being here with us. Another fantastic afternoon, another hot 90 minutes talking sports and everything in between. I had a great time. I hope you guys did too. Hey, weekend words from you, gentlemen. Let's go with Wudi first. Weekend words.
Yeah, I rolled out of bed. Your boy got a fever or something. So I was not feeling too hot, but to come out here, deliver a flu game real quick. Jordan with the 63. And then I'm rolling right back in. It's actually right there. I'm looking at it. Hopefully we'll be feeling better by the end of the weekend. If you have suffered from the snow this week like I have, I think it will heat up. They say Sunday, it'll be back rising. So the warm weather is coming. It's a coming.
There you go. It's a me. It's a Mario. Gene?
Yeah, with me, man, I'm going to have to go get myself a new sweater. It's going to be like 70 degrees here.
Right. I'll send you one, okay? I'll mail you one.
I appreciate it because it's chilly.
Yeah, the quality is going to be amazing. Any weekend words from you, Gene, other than the fact that you're complaining about your heat?
Yeah, you know what? Hey, guys, we're going to have some baseball games, some Cactus League, not obviously regular season. We're going to get some Cactus League games. We're going to get some Grapefruit League games. So go enjoy watching some of these young guys that, that are coming up that maybe you don't know yet that they're in the double A's and the triple A's, and go enjoy watching some baseball as it comes back, man. Can't wait.
There you go. Speaking of baseball, Sunil, I think he'll go to the Red Sox before he goes to the Yankees. There's just something about I just don't think the Yankees are.
Yankees aren't making that move.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are good. I think they're done. I don't think Vlad even fits in their kind of scheme of things. Yes,
they might be in the mix for him in the off season as a free agent, because that might have been one of the reasons why they signed Goldschmidt to 1 year, so they can be in that mix. Because Ben Rice isn't the answer, right? Mm-hmm. But I ultimately think they'll get beat out by the Mets or the Dodgers.
Yeah. Okay, kids. Hey, listen. And for me, this has been the best time. I'm gonna brave that snow because that's what I do. I got way too many hats, so I didn't order any this week. Oh, shocking! I know. Enjoy yourselves, get some rest and relaxation, and guess what? We will see you next week on the Pop Off. Peace, y'all.